Did you know there are houses across England where the screaming never stopped until someone put a human skull back where it belonged? Not a ghost, not a demon, just bones. Tonight I'm talking about the Screaming Skull, a legend that refuses to stay buried. Hey there, horror friends. Welcome back to Morbid Curiosity Monday, the series where I explore the dark corners of folklore, legend, and the beliefs that cling to history long after the people are gone. Every week, I take on one unsettling story and peel back the layers, where it came from, why it persists, and what it says about the people who told it. And today, I am diving into one of the strangest and most quietly disturbing legends in British folklore, the Screaming Skull. The Screaming Skull legend appears all across England, often tied to old manor houses, estates, and rural homes. The story is simple, and that's what makes it unsettling. Somewhere in the house, there's a human skull. Sometimes it sits on a shelf. Sometimes it's hidden in a wall or locked away in a cellar. Sometimes it's buried beneath the floorboards in the house. And as long as the skull stays where it is, everything is fine. But if someone tries to move it, to bury it properly, to throw it away, or just to relocate it, the house becomes cursed. People report screaming echoing through the halls, shrill human wails that don't stop, objects move, animals panic, illness spreads. Sleep becomes impossible, and the only solution is always the same: return the skull to where it was. One of the most telling parts of the Screaming Skull legend is who the skull usually belonged to. In many versions, the skull is said to be that of a servant, a prisoner, an enslaved person, or someone with very little power in life. Often, the story includes a final wish, spoken on a deathbed, asking to be buried on the land where they lived or worked. That request is ignored, and the screaming begins. This detail appears again and again across different versions of the legend, which raises an uncomfortable question. Was this really about ghosts, or was it about guilt? What makes the Screaming Skull so unsettling isn't just the story itself, it's how often it appears. Different countries, different families, different centuries. But the rules never change. Move the skull, chaos. Return it, peace. This repetition suggests the legend wasn't just a single haunting, but a cultural warning. A reminder that ignoring the dead, especially those mistreated in life, comes with consequences. In folklore, repetition often signals a shared fear rather than a shared event. At its core, the Screaming Skull represents a refusal to be erased. It's a story about memory and what happens when the past demands to be acknowledged. These skulls don't chase people, they don't attack, they don't seek revenge. They scream. They make it impossible to ignore what was done to them. In that way, the legend turns the house itself into a site of reckoning. The Screaming Skull still resonates because it taps into something deeply human. The fear that we've built comfort on top of injustice. That piece requires acknowledgement, and that sometimes the past refuses to stay silent. So here's the question I want to leave with you. Do you think the Screaming Skull was meant to scare people into obedience, or was it a way of forcing the living to respect the dead, especially those who were powerless in life? If you want to explore that question more deeply, the history, the symbolism, and why this legend appears again and again, that's what I do here every week. So if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and tells YouTube you want more morbid curiosities like this. And writers, if you're interested in how stories like the Screaming Skull work on a structural level, I break all of that down on my Substack. The Writer's Room is where I talk about folklore, horror, craft, and how to turn legends into effective stories. You can find the link in my bio. So, until next time, let the dead keep their place.